Buddhist teacher Tara Brach's work on radical acceptance. And so during this, our time for prayer and meditation, I offer you a meditation from her book. This meditation is based on the practice of vipassana, mindfulness. After our guided meditation, which is a little longer than our usual prayer, we will sing together Spirit of Life, which is hymn number 123, also printed in your order of service. Let us begin our meditation. Find a sitting position that allows you to be alert, but also relaxed. Spine erect, but not rigid. Close your eyes and rest your hands in an easy, effortless way. Allow your awareness to scan through your body, and wherever possible, soften and release any areas of physical tension. Because we so easily get lost in thoughts, vipassana begins with attention to the breath. Using the breath as a primary anchor of mindfulness helps to quiet the mind so that you can be awake to the changing stream of life that moves through you. Take a few very full breaths. And then allow your breath to be natural. Notice where you most easily detect the breath. You might feel it as it flows in and out of your nose, or perhaps you feel the movement of your chest, or the rising and falling of your abdomen. Bring your attention to the sensations of breathing in one of these areas, wherever you feel them most distinctly. There's no need to control the breath, to grasp or fixate on it. There's no right way of breathing. With a relaxed awareness, discover what the breath is really like as a changing experience of sensations. You'll find that the mind naturally drifts off in thoughts. Thoughts are not the enemy, and you don't need to clear your mind of thoughts. Rather, you are developing the capacity to recognize when thoughts are happening without getting lost in the storyline. When you become aware of your thinking, try using a soft and friendly mental note, like thinking. Then, without any judgment, gently return to the immediacy of the breath. Let the breath be home base, a place of full presence. You might notice other experiences, the sounds outside or downstairs, feelings of being warm or cold, sensations of hunger. They can be in the background without drawing you away. If any particular sensations become strong and call your attention, allow these sensations, instead of the breath, to become the primary subject of mindfulness. You might feel heat or chills, tingling or aching. With a soft, open awareness, just feel the sensations as they are. Are they pleasant or unpleasant? As you fully attend to them, do they become more intense or dissipate? Notice how they change. When the sensations are no longer a strong experience, return to the mindfulness of breathing. In the same way, you can bring mindfulness to strong emotions, fear, sadness, happiness, excitement, grief. Meet each experience with a kind and clear presence, neither clinging to nor resisting what is happening. What does this emotion feel like as sensations in your body? As you pay attention, notice how the emotion changes. Does it become more intense or weaken? Does it change into a different state? Anger to grief, happiness to peace. When the emotion is no longer compelling, turn your attention back to the breath. If the emotion feels overwhelming for you, or if you're confused about where to place your attention, relax and come home to your breath. Come home to your breath. Our reading this morning is The Guest House by Rumi. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them at the door laughing and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. So, during this morning's meditation, how many of you were critical of yourself? How many of you thought, I'm so bad at meditation? Or, when is she going to stop? I stink at this. A while back, I went to one of Jennifer Shannon's yoga classes, and she began the class by telling us to be gentle with ourselves, not to worry so much if we were doing it right or how we looked, to stop if anything felt uncomfortable, and not to compare ourselves to anyone else around us. The woman next to me laughed. "That's going to be really hard for me," she said. "I'm a perfectionist. I want to be really good at this. I want to win yoga." The rest of us started laughing too because we recognized the thought process. We want to get it right. We want to win yoga, win meditation, win spirituality. We want to win relationships, win life. We forget to be gentle with ourselves, to stop comparing ourselves to everyone around us. What we don't realize is how much energy this takes, this constant scorekeeping, this constant monitoring for shortcomings. Buddhist teacher Tara Brach calls this cycle of self-critical thoughts the trance of unworthiness. And she says it's what keeps us from the sweetness of belonging. In her book, Radical Acceptance, Embracing Your Life with the Heart of a Buddha, Brach tells this story. Several years ago, a small group of Buddhist teachers and psychologists from the United States and Europe invited the Dalai Lama to join them in a dialogue about emotions and health. During one of their sessions, an American Vipassana teacher asked him to talk about the suffering of self-hatred. A look of confusion came over the Dalai Lama's face. "What is self-hatred?" he asked. As the therapists and the teachers in the room tried to explain, he looked increasingly bewildered. Was this mental state a nervous disorder? He asked them. When those gathered confirmed that self-hatred was not unusual, but a rather common experience for their students and clients, the Dalai Lama was astonished. How could they feel that way about themselves, he asked, when everybody has Buddha nature? Another term for self-hatred here is, of course, shame. The pervasive presence of shame was shocking to the Dalai Lama, but it's really no wonder if you look at our guiding stories. Take Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. God creates a beautiful garden, a paradise called Eden. In the middle, God puts the tree of knowledge. Then God creates Adam and tells him not to eat the fruit from that tree. Then God creates Eve from Adam's rib, and they live naked and free and happy in the Garden of Eden. But then that wicked old snake comes along and tempts Eve. He tells her if she eats the fruit from the forbidden tree, she will become wise like God. So she eats it and convinces Adam to as well. When God comes back, they are ashamed because they ate the fruit. And they hide their nakedness with fig leaves because now they are ashamed of their bodies too. Angry, God asks them if they've eaten the fruit from the tree of knowledge, and they confess. And God banishes them from the garden. God punishes Adam by making him work the land, and Eve by giving her the pain of childbirth. The message of original sin is clear, says Brach. Because of our basically flawed nature, we do not deserve to be happy, loved by others, or at ease with life. We are outcasts, And if we are to re-enter the Garden of Eden, we must redeem our sinful selves. We must overcome our flaws by controlling our bodies, controlling our emotions, controlling our natural surroundings, controlling other people. And we must strive tirelessly, working, acquiring, consuming, achieving, emailing, overcommitting and rushing in a never-ending quest to prove ourselves once and for all. For so many of us, says Brach, feelings of deficiency are right around the corner. It doesn't take much. Just hearing someone else's accomplishments, being criticized, getting into an argument, making a mistake at work, to make us feel that we are not okay. While in Christianity, a main thrust of spiritual life is original sin, in Buddhism, spiritual awakening is the process of recognizing our essential goodness, our natural wisdom and compassion. Maybe not all of us connect with Buddhism, but this message of essential goodness is a powerful antidote to the painful burden of feeling not good enough. It's also the message of our first Unitarian Universalist principle, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. A few years ago, I took my friend Catherine, who grew up Southern Baptist, to a music workshop my mother was leading called Songs of Myself. It was a room full of women of all ages singing songs of courage and strength and belonging. She taught us this song, which she learned from the group Libana. I will be gentle with myself, I will love myself. I am a child of the universe, being born each moment. I will be gentle with myself, I will love myself. I am a child of the universe, being born each moment. At the end of the day full of singing, my friend Catherine said to me with tears in her eyes, I can't imagine how different my life would be if I had grown up singing songs like this, instead of songs about sin. Of course, messages of belonging and goodness can be found within Christianity too. Here's another story from the book. One day, a young Catholic priest was making his rounds at a community hospital, and he came upon a woman dying of AIDS. She had lived the last decade of her life addicted to heroin, not caring where she got her next fix, just so long as she got it. The priest sat down next to her and asked how she was doing. I'm lost, she replied. I've ruined my life and every life around me. There is no hope for me. I'm going to hell. The priest sat in silence a few moments. Then he noticed a framed picture of a pretty girl on the dresser. Who's that? He asked. The woman brightened a little. She's my daughter, the one beautiful thing in my life. And would you help her if she was in trouble or made a mistake? Asked the priest. Would you forgive her? Would you still love her? Of course I would, cried the woman. I would do anything for her. She will always be precious and beautiful to me. I want you to know, said the priest, that God has a picture of you on God's dresser. I had some misgivings about the concept of radical acceptance. It sounded kind of dangerous to me, like it could be used to keep people down. I also thought striving to have the heart of a Buddha was a pretty lofty goal. But I've learned that radical acceptance doesn't mean accepting abuse or injustice. It means accepting ourselves, our full selves, our full stories. It means reclaiming that sense of belonging that comes with focusing on the part of the story that tells us that we all have Buddha nature, and not on the part of the story where we get kicked out of the garden. The invitation to a life of radical acceptance is not an invitation to remain stuck in the status quo. It's not a way of getting around the apologies we need to make. It doesn't mean that we should not do everything we can to make the needed changes in our lives and in our world. Instead, it's an invitation to be gentle with ourselves, to love ourselves as we face the tasks ahead of us. Radical acceptance does not mean standing still. It means pausing before we move forward. Pausing to take stock of what we are feeling, to allow ourselves those feelings without judgment, and to have compassion. If we've had an argument with someone, it means taking time to recognize the sensations in our body, the tightness in our chest, the hotness in our face. It means identifying the true feelings at the heart of those sensations: anger, fear, helplessness. It means naming those feelings without beating ourselves up over them. It means having compassion for ourselves, and then compassion for the person we have argued with, as we imagine that they too have deep feelings and fears at the heart of their reactions. It means remembering that we are worthy of love. Maybe it will lead to reaching out to that person. Maybe it will lead to walking away. But compassion will be at the heart. If we are marching for justice, radical acceptance means recognizing the sensations in our body, the energy in our feet, the energy in a clenched fist, but also the quickening beat of our heart, the sinking feeling in our stomach. It means identifying the true feelings at the heart of those sensations. Exhilaration maybe, but maybe nervousness, fear. It means naming those feelings without beating ourselves up over them. It means compassion for ourselves, and then compassion for those people we are marching for, and then compassion for those people we are protesting against, as we imagine that they too have deep feelings and fears at the heart of their reactions. It means remembering that we are worthy of love, that all people are worthy of love. Now that we have more of an idea about what radical acceptance is, I invite you to join me in another guided meditation. This time, try to put aside any of those nagging thoughts of needing to be good at this. Sitting comfortably and quietly, take a few full breaths. With a gentle and open attention, notice the fear or vulnerability you are feeling in your body and mind. Connect with your longing to be held in unconditional love. Bring to mind the image of a person or spiritual figure or deity that you associate with compassion. You may see the face of your grandmother or your dearest friend. You may see an image of the Buddha, Guan Yin, or Christ. Or you may call to mind an all-merciful God. With a silent prayer, ask this being to be present with you. Let them gaze at you with unconditional love. Look into the eyes that regard you with understanding and complete acceptance. Placing your attention on your heart and aware of your longing, experience this compassionate being as absolutely present and available, as wanting to be here with you. Now imagine this being's presence as a radiant and boundless field of light. Visualize and feel that you are surrounded by this warm luminosity, held in this being's loving embrace. See how fully you can surrender, letting your hurt and fear, pain and sorrow dissolve into this merciful presence. Allow your entire body, heart, and mind to release into and merge with this loving awareness. If you contract again in doubt or fear, gently feel your suffering and reach out once more toward this compassionate presence. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all. You are a child of the universe, being born each moment. Amen, and blessed be.